I stood in my childhood bedroom, looking at the same walls where my brother used to pin me down and laugh. Everyone thought Darnell was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. But I knew the truth. The real monster in our family wasn't the one Mama defended. It was the one she refused to see. Before we continue, please tell us where you're watching from so we know how far our stories reach, and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. My name is Malcolm Turner. I'm 42 years old. For most of my life, I believed family meant everything. That blood was thicker than water. That you stood by your people no matter what. Growing up in Southside Chicago, that's what we were taught at Sunday dinner after church. That's what Mama preached while she passed around her famous mac and cheese and greens. Family first. Always. But Mama had a favorite. And it wasn't me. Darnell came into this world 4 years after me. From the moment he could walk, he owned every room he entered. Smooth talker, bright smile. Could charm the habit of a nun, as my Auntie Phyllis used to say. Mama ate it up. Every single bit of it. Me? I was the responsible one. The boring one. The one who did his homework without being asked. The one who got a job at 15 to help with bills. The one who never caused trouble. And somehow, that made me invisible. Darnell, though? He could break Mama's favorite vase, and she'd blame the wind. He could fail a class, and she'd say the teacher had it out for him. He could stay out till 3 in the morning, and she'd make him breakfast with a smile when he finally rolled in. When we were kids, Darnell used to wait until our parents weren't looking. Then he'd hit me. Hard. In the ribs, in the stomach. Places where bruises wouldn't show. When I'd cry out, Mama would turn around and see Darnell standing there with innocent eyes, and me on the floor. "Malcolm, why are you always starting something with your brother?" she'd say. I stopped crying out after a while. Dad saw it, though. Walter Turner wasn't a man of many words, but he had eyes. He worked double shifts at the plant to keep us fed, to keep a roof over our heads, and when he was home, he noticed things. He'd pull me aside sometimes, tell me to keep my head up, tell me I was going to be something special one day. But he never stood up to Mama about Darnell. Not back then. High school was worse. Darnell was the star basketball player. I was in the chess club. He had girls calling the house at all hours. I had my books. He threw parties when our parents were out of town. I cleaned up the mess afterward, so he wouldn't get in trouble. I told myself it would get better. That once we were adults, things would change. I was wrong. I met Keisha Williams when I was 25. She was a server at this soul food spot on 79th Street. Beautiful smile, warm eyes, laugh that could light up a whole room. She was working 2 jobs to put herself through nursing school. Driven, independent, strong. I fell hard. We dated for 3 years before I proposed. Saved up for 6 months to buy her the ring she deserved. Nothing too flashy, but real, genuine. Like us. We got married at Mama's church. Big ceremony. All our people there. Darnell was my best man, because Mama insisted. He gave a speech about brotherhood and loyalty that had everyone in tears. I should have known then. The way he looked at Keisha during the reception. The way he hugged her, just a little too long when he congratulated us. The way his hand lingered on her waist. But I trusted him. He was my brother. What I didn't know was that the monster was already making his move. Keisha and I built a good life. I worked my way up at an insurance company downtown. Started as a claims adjuster. Worked up to senior analyst. Good money. Benefits. Stability. Keisha finished nursing school and got a job at Rush University Medical Center. We bought a house in Chatham. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. When Keisha got pregnant, I cried. Actual tears running down my face in the bathroom of our little house. I was going to be a father. I was going to give my son everything I never had. All the attention, all the support, all the love. Cameron was born on a Tuesday morning in March. 7 pounds, 4 ounces, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Perfect. When they put him in my arms, I made a promise. I would protect this boy. I would never let him feel invisible. I would never let anyone hurt him the way Darnell hurt me. For 8 years, I kept that promise. I coached his t-ball team. I helped with his homework every night. I took him to the barber shop on Saturdays and let him pick out candy from the corner store afterward. I read to him before bed. We had this whole routine. I was present. I was there. I was the father I always wanted. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was that every single moment of those 8 years was built on a lie. It started with little things I didn't want to see. Keisha on her phone late at night, texting someone and smiling. Her working extra shifts, but the money never quite adding up. Her being too tired whenever I tried to be close to her. The way she'd tense up when I hugged her from behind in the kitchen. I told myself I was being paranoid, that work was stressing her out, that raising a kid and working full-time was exhausting. I made excuses because I didn't want to believe what my gut was telling me. Then Darnell started coming around more. Just dropping by on weekends, wanting to spend time with his nephew, he said. Being a good uncle. Mama loved it. Kept talking about how sweet it was that her boys were finally close. I'd come home from work and find Darnell sitting on my couch, in my house, drinking my beer, playing video games with my son. And Keisha would be in the kitchen cooking, laughing at something he said. "Malcolm, you don't mind if Darnell stays for dinner, right?" she'd ask. What was I supposed to say? No, my brother can't eat with us. That would make me look like the bad guy. Again. So I'd smile. I'd sit down at my own table, and I'd watch my wife and my brother exchange glances I pretended not to see. This went on for months, maybe longer. I don't know when it actually started. I don't know if I want to know. What I do know is this. 3 months ago, everything came crashing down. I came home early from work, had a splitting headache. My boss told me to take the afternoon off. I pulled into the driveway around 2 o'clock. Keisha's car was there. She'd told me that morning she had a double shift. I walked into my house, my home, the place where I'd built my life. And I heard voices upstairs, in my bedroom. I stood at the bottom of those stairs for what felt like forever, my hand on the railing, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Every instinct told me to turn around, to walk back out that door, to pretend I never came home early. But my feet kept moving. One step, then another, until I was standing outside my own bedroom door. The voices stopped. I pushed the door open. Keisha was there, sitting on the edge of our bed. The bed where we'd conceived our son, where we'd talked about our dreams late at night, where I'd held her when her mama passed. She was buttoning her shirt, her hands shaking, her eyes wide, and Darnell was standing by the window. My brother, tucking his shirt into his jeans, that same smug smile on his face I'd seen my whole life, the one that said he'd gotten away with something again. "Malcolm," Keisha said, her voice cracking. "Baby, I can explain." I didn't say anything. Couldn't. My throat had closed up. My brain was trying to process what my eyes were seeing, trying to make it make sense. But there was no sense to be made. "Bro, listen," Darnell started. That's when something broke inside me. I'd spent 42 years being the good one, the patient one, the one who kept his mouth shut and his head down, the one who took the hits and the insults and the invisible treatment. I'd let Darnell take everything from me growing up. My mother's attention, my father's pride, My peace, but I'd drawn a line at my family, my wife, my son. That was supposed to be sacred. "Get out," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. It was cold, flat, dead. "Malcolm, please, just let me—" Keisha stood up. "Not you," I said. "Him. Get out of my house before I do something I regret." Darnell had the nerve to laugh, actually laugh. "Come on, man, don't be like that. We can talk about this like adults." I looked at my brother, really looked at him, and I saw it. He wasn't scared. He wasn't sorry. He was enjoying this, the same way he enjoyed every time he got away with hurting me when we were kids, the same way he enjoyed being Mama's favorite while I worked 2 jobs to help pay his college tuition, the same way he'd enjoyed sitting on my couch, eating my food, playing with my son, knowing. He'd known this whole time, and he didn't care. "I said get out," I repeated. Darnell shrugged, picked up his jacket from my dresser, walked right past me like nothing had happened. I heard the front door close a minute later, heard his car start in the driveway. Heard him drive away. Then it was just me and Keisha. She was crying now, mascara running down her face. "Malcolm, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. It just—" "How long?" I asked. She didn't answer. "How? Long? 2 years, she whispered. 2 years, 730 days, while I was working overtime to save for Cameron's college fund. While I was cooking Sunday dinners and coaching t-ball and being the husband I promised to be. While I was trusting her, believing in us. "I want a divorce," I said. "No, please, we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll end it with him, I swear. Malcolm, please. Think about Cameron." Cameron. My son was at school. He'd be home in a few hours. He'd walk through that door expecting his normal life, expecting his dad to ask about his day, expecting dinner and homework, help and bedtime stories. How was I supposed to look at him now? "Pack your things," I said. "You can stay with your sister. I want you out by the time Cameron gets home." "Malcolm, now, Keisha." I walked out of that room, went downstairs, sat on the couch where Darnell had sat so many times, and I let myself feel it, all of it, the rage, the hurt, the betrayal, the humiliation. But I thought I knew the worst of it. I thought I'd seen the bottom. I had no idea. Over the next 2 weeks, I moved like a ghost through my own life. Filed for divorce. Told Cameron that Mommy and Daddy needed some space. Watched my son's face crumble. Held him while he cried. Lied and said everything would be okay. I didn't tell my parents yet. Couldn't. Didn't want to hear Mama make excuses for Darnell. Didn't want to see Dad's disappointment that his son's relationship had finally shattered for good. Keisha moved in with her sister in Bronzeville. She called every day, begging, pleading, promising it was over with Darnell. I didn't answer. Let it go to voicemail. Deleted the messages without listening. My lawyer said we needed a paternity test for custody arrangements. Standard procedure in divorce cases, he explained. No big deal, just a formality. I almost said no. Cameron was my son. I'd raised him. Biology didn't matter. But something made me say yes. Maybe it was the way Darnell had looked at him that last time he came over. Maybe it was the way Keisha had tensed up when the lawyer mentioned it. Maybe it was just needing to know the full truth. The results came back on a Thursday. I was at work when my lawyer called. I stepped into an empty conference room to take it, closed the door, sat down in one of those expensive leather chairs. "Malcolm, we have the results from the paternity test," he said. "Okay. I need you to sit down if you're not already." "I'm sitting." He was quiet for a second. Then, "Cameron isn't your biological son. The test shows 0% probability of paternity." The room tilted. The walls started closing in. I couldn't breathe. Mr. Turner? Malcolm? Are you there? Yeah, I managed. I'm here. I'm so sorry. I know this isn't what you wanted to hear. But given the circumstances with your brother, we can run another test to— No, I said. I know whose son he is. I hung up. Sat in that conference room for an hour. Maybe 2. Watching the sun move across the Chicago skyline through the window. Thinking about every moment of the last 8 years, every bedtime story, every birthday party, every scraped knee I bandaged, every nightmare I chased away. All of it built on a lie. Cameron wasn't mine. He was Darnell's. My wife hadn't just cheated on me for 2 years. She'd been cheating since before Cameron was born. Maybe the whole marriage. Maybe even before the wedding. I thought about the timing. Keisha got pregnant 6 months after we got married. I was so happy. So proud. So stupid. She knew. The whole time, she knew. And Darnell knew. He'd been my best man. He'd given that speech about brotherhood. He'd looked me in the eye and lied. Then he'd slept with my wife. Then he'd watched me raise his son. Watched me love that boy with everything I had. And he never said a word. I drove to my parents' house that night. Didn't call first, just showed up. Dad was in his recliner watching the news. Mama was in the kitchen putting away dishes. Malcolm! Mama's face lit up when she saw me. Baby, what are you doing here? Where's Keisha and Cameron? We need to talk, I said. Dad sat up. He knew my voice. Knew something was wrong. I told them everything. Started from the beginning. Coming home early. Finding them in my bedroom. The divorce papers. The paternity test results. All of it. Mama's face went through 100 emotions. Shock. Denial. Disbelief. But not anger. Not at Darnell. Malcolm, honey, are you sure? Maybe there's been a mistake. Maybe— Dorothy, Dad said quietly. Let the boy finish. I looked at my father. 70 years old. Grey hair. Tired eyes. Hands scarred from decades of factory work. He'd given everything to this family. Everything. I'm sorry, Dad, I said. I know he's your son. But I can't do this anymore. I can't pretend we're a family. Not after this. What happened next changed everything. Dad stood up, walked to the phone on the wall, dialed a number, put it on speaker. Darnell answered on the 3rd ring. Hey, Pops, what's up? Come to the house, Dad said. Now. I'm kind of in the middle of— Now, Darnell. Dad hung up. We sat in silence for 30 minutes. Mama kept trying to speak. Dad would look at her, and she'd stop. I'd never seen him like this. Never seen him take control like this. When Darnell finally walked in, he was smiling. Always smiling. What's going on? Family meeting or— He stopped when he saw me. The smile flickered. Oh. Hey, Malcolm. Is it true? Dad asked. Is what true? Don't play stupid with me, boy. Did you sleep with your brother's wife? Darnell's face went pale. He looked at Mama, looking for rescue, like always. Walter, maybe we should all just calm down and— Mama started. Answer the question, Darnell. Darnell's jaw tightened. Yeah, I did. But it's not like Malcolm's making it out to be. Keisha and I, we have a connection. And the boy, Dad interrupted. Cameron, is he yours? Silence. Answer me. Yes, Darnell shouted back. Yes, he's mine, okay? Are you happy now? Yes, I slept with Keisha. Yes, Cameron's my son. Yes, I've known the whole time. Is that what you wanted to hear? The room went dead quiet. Then my father did something I'd never seen in my entire life. He walked over to Darnell, drew back his hand, and slapped him across the face. "Get out of my house," Dad said, his voice shaking. "You are not my son anymore." Mama screamed, an actual scream that echoed through that little house. She lunged at Dad, grabbing his arm. "Walter, no, you can't do this. He's our son. He made a mistake, but he's our baby." Dad pulled his arm away, looked at her with eyes I'd never seen before, cold, hard. "He's not a baby, Dorothy. He's a 38-year-old man who destroyed his brother's life. On purpose, for years. But family forgives. That's what we do. We forgive." "Some things," Dad said slowly, "don't deserve forgiveness." Darnell's hand was on his cheek where Dad had slapped him. He looked like a child who'd just realized tears wouldn't save him this time. "Pops, come on. I messed up, okay? I know I did, but you can't just get out." I watched my brother look between our parents, watched him realize Mama couldn't save him. Not this time. Watched him turn to me with something almost like desperation. "Malcolm, tell him. Tell him we can work this out. We're brothers, man. You stopped being my brother the day you touched my wife," I said. Darnell's face hardened. There it was, the real him, the mask slipping. Fine. You know what? I'm glad it happened. You want to know the truth? Keisha never loved you. She settled for you. You were the safe choice, the boring choice, the one with the steady job and the retirement plan. But me? I'm what she really wanted. I'm who she chose when she had the option." Mama gasped. "Darnell, stop it!" "No, Mama, he wants the truth. Here's the truth. Malcolm's always been jealous of me. Always. Since we were kids. Because I had what he never could. Personality. Charm. People actually liked being around me. And yeah, that included his wife. So if anyone's the victim here, it's me for having to sneak around all these years because my brother couldn't handle." The second slap came from Dad's other hand, harder this time. "I said get out. Don't make me say it again." Darnell stared at Dad for a long moment. Then he laughed. That same hollow laugh from my bedroom. "You're really choosing him over me? Malcolm, the son who's never done anything interesting in his whole life." "I'm choosing the son who's a man," Dad said. "Now get out before I throw you out." Darnell left, slammed the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. We heard his car peel out of the driveway. Mama collapsed into a chair, crying, wailing about her baby, about how we were destroying the family, about how God wouldn't want this. Dad ignored her, walked over to me, put his hand on my shoulder. "I'm sorry, son," he said. "I should have stopped this years ago. Should have seen what he was doing to you. Should have protected you better." "It's not your fault, Dad." "Yes, it is. A father's supposed to protect all his children, even from each other, especially from each other. I failed you." I hugged my father, held him tight, and for the first time in weeks, I felt something other than rage and hurt. I felt seen. The next few months were brutal. The divorce went through fast once the paternity test became official. Keisha tried to fight for alimony. My lawyer shut that down quick. She tried to get the house. The judge laughed her out of court when he saw the evidence. Cameron was the hardest part. I still saw him on weekends at first. Couldn't just cut him off cold. He was 8 years old. None of this was his fault. But every time I looked at him, I saw Darnell's eyes, Darnell's smile, Darnell's face. It wasn't fair to the kid. But I couldn't do it. Couldn't pretend anymore. I told Keisha she needed to tell Cameron the truth, that I wasn't his biological father, that Darnell was. She begged me not to, said it would destroy him. "He deserves to know the truth," I said. "Just like I did," she told him. Cameron stopped calling me, stopped asking to visit. Keisha said he was angry, confused, hurt, said he blamed me for leaving. That hurt worse than anything Darnell had done. But if I'd learned anything from this nightmare, it was that the truth mattered more than comfort, more than keeping up appearances, more than protecting people from consequences they'd earned. Darnell, meanwhile, crashed hard. He'd been in his second year of college when the affair started, living off Mama and Dad's money, playing basketball, partying, not taking anything seriously because he never had to. When Dad cut him off, everything fell apart. He dropped out of school first, couldn't pay tuition without Dad's money, moved in with Keisha and Cameron in her sister's tiny apartment, got a job at a warehouse, then got fired for showing up late, got another job at a car wash, got fired for arguing with customers. I heard all this through Jerome, my best friend from high school. He kept tabs on Darnell through the neighborhood grapevine, told me things I didn't ask to know but needed to hear anyway. Darnell started calling Dad, voicemails, texts, showing up at the house, begging for another chance, promising he'd changed, crying about how he couldn't support his son. Dad never answered, never responded, never opened the door. Mama tried to sneak him money. Dad found out. They had their first real fight in 45 years of marriage. Dad told her if she gave Darnell $1 more, he'd divorce her too. She stopped. But that wasn't even the worst part for Darnell. The worst part was what happened at Daddy's church. See, our family had been going to Greater Faith Baptist for 3 generations. Everybody knew the Turners, respected us. Dad was a deacon. Mama sang in the choir. We were pillars of that community. And church folks talk. Word got out about what Darnell had done, about the affair, about the child, about the betrayal. In a community built on family values and brotherhood, what Darnell did wasn't just wrong. It was unforgivable. People crossed the street when they saw him. Former friends stopped returning his calls. His reputation was destroyed. Keisha felt it too. Lost her job at the hospital when the gossip reached her co-workers. Nobody wanted to work with a woman who had done what she did. She found work at a clinic in Gary, Indiana. Hour-and-a-half commute each way. Less pay. No benefits. They were drowning. And I watched from the surface without throwing a rope. 6 months after Dad disowned him, Darnell showed up at my job. Security called me down to the lobby. There he was. Thinner. Older looking. Desperate. "Malcolm, please, just hear me out." "You need to leave," I said. "I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I'm drowning here, man. I can't keep Cameron fed. I can't pay rent. I need help. Please. For Cameron. Not for me. For my son." "He's not my son," I said. "You made sure of that. $5,000. Just 5,000. It would get us caught up, get us stable. I'll pay you back, I swear." "No. Malcolm, you took everything from me, Darnell. My wife, my child, my peace. You did it knowing exactly what you were doing. You enjoyed it. And now you want me to rescue you? I'm your brother." "No," I said. "You stopped being my brother when you decided I didn't matter. When you decided my life was just something you could take pieces from whenever you wanted. Brothers don't do what you did. Please, I'm begging you." I looked at him. Really looked at him. The golden child, the favorite, the one who always got away with everything. Brought low. Broken. Finally facing consequences. And I felt nothing. "Security will escort you out," I said. "Don't come back." I walked away. Didn't look back. Heard him calling my name. Ignored it. That night, Jerome called me. "Yo, Malcolm, you heard about your pops?" My blood went cold. "What about him?" "He went to see a lawyer today. Phyllis Grant. My cousin works at her office. Saw your dad walk in with a folder thick as a phone book." "What kind of lawyer?" "Estate planning, man. He's rewriting his will. I drove to my parents' house, let myself in with my key, found Dad in his study. Paperwork spread across the desk. "Malcolm," he said, not surprised to see me. "I figured you'd come." "Dad, what are you doing?" What I should have done years ago, taking care of my son, my real son, the one who deserves it. He handed me a document. I read through it, then read it again, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Dad's estate was worth $2 million, house paid off, life insurance, retirement accounts, investments he'd made quietly over 40 years of factory work, and he was leaving every single cent to me. "Dad, I can't." "Yes, you can, and you will. Darnell had his chance, had every advantage, had all the love and support and second chances a man could ask for. He threw it away, made his choices. Now he lives with them. Mama's going to lose her mind. Your mama enabled that boy his whole life, turned him into a man who thinks the world owes him everything. She's got to live with that, too." I sat down hard in the chair across from him. "This is a lot of money, Dad." "You earned it," he said simply. "Every time you worked overtime to help pay Darnell's tuition, every time you took his punches and kept quiet. Every time you were the bigger man. You earned it, Malcolm. And when I'm gone, I want you to have it. Build a life. Find someone who deserves you. Be happy. That's all I want." My eyes burned. "I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything. Just promise me something. Anything. Don't let Darnell make you bitter. Don't let what he did poison the rest of your life. You're 42 years old. You got time to start over, to find real love, to build something good. Promise me you won't waste that time on hate." "I promise, Dad." He smiled, reached across the desk and squeezed my hand. "That's my boy. Dad passed away 8 months later. Heart attack, quick, peaceful, the way he'd want to go." The funeral was packed. 300 people came to pay respects to Walter Turner, a good man, a hard worker, a pillar of the community. Darnell showed up. Keisha was with him. Cameron, too. The boy was 9 now. Taller. Looking more like Darnell every day. Darnell tried to speak to me. I walked past him. Didn't acknowledge him. Didn't acknowledge any of them. The will reading happened the next week. Phyllis Grant's office. Mama was there. I was there. Darnell showed up uninvited with Keisha. Phyllis read the will. When she got to the part about the estate division, Mama went pale. "This can't be right," she whispered. "It's correct, Mrs. Turner," Phyllis said. "Mr. Turner was very specific. The entire estate goes to Malcolm Turner. There is no provision for Darnell Turner." Darnell shot to his feet. "What? No, that's not. He can't do that. I'm his son." "You were his son," Phyllis said coldly. "Mr. Turner made it very clear why you were excluded. He even wrote a statement." "Would you like me to read it?" "Yes," Darnell shouted. Phyllis adjusted her glasses, began to read. "To whom it may concern, I leave nothing to my son Darnell Turner because he has shown himself to be a man without honor, integrity, or conscience. He betrayed his brother in the worst way a man can betray family. He carried on an affair with his brother's wife. He fathered a child and allowed his brother to raise that child in ignorance for 8 years. He showed no remorse when confronted. He blamed everyone but himself for his actions. A man like this does not deserve the fruits of my labor. A man like this is not worthy of being called my son. Therefore, I leave my entire estate to Malcolm Turner, who has shown himself to be everything a father could hope for in a son. May he use these resources to build the life he deserves, free from the burden of the brother who betrayed him. Signed, Walter Turner." The room went silent. Darnell's face went through shock, rage, humiliation. Keisha was crying quietly. Cameron looked confused. Mama stood up, walked out of the office without a word. "This is bullshit," Darnell yelled. "I'm contesting this. You can't—" "You can try," Phyllis said. But Mr. Turner anticipated that. The will is ironclad, witnessed by 3 people, notarized, legally sound. Any attempt to contest it will be met with a countersuit for legal fees. I would strongly advise against it. Darnell looked at me, really looked at me. And for the first time in my life, I saw something I'd never seen before. Fear. He'd finally realized what he'd lost. Not just the money, the family, the community, the safety net that had always caught him. All of it. Gone. Because of choices he made. "Malcolm," he said, voice breaking. "Please, we can split it. We can—" "No," I said. "I'm drowning here. Keisha lost her job again. We're about to lose the apartment. Cameron needs—" "Cameron has a father," I said. You wanted to be his dad so bad, you destroyed my life to make it happen. So be his dad. Figure it out. Like I had to figure it out when you took everything from me." "I'm sorry," Darnell screamed, actual tears now. "I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for all of it. I was wrong. I was selfish. I was evil. Is that what you want to hear? I'll say it. Just please, please help me." I stood up, looked down at my brother. The golden child, the favorite, broken and begging on the floor of a lawyer's office. And I walked out. That was 3 years ago. Today, I'm 45. I used some of Dad's money to pay off my house, invested the rest. I'm comfortable, secure. I changed jobs, moved to a better neighborhood, started going to therapy to deal with all the trauma. I started dating again last year. Met a woman named Angela at a friend's barbecue. She's a teacher, kind, honest, real. We take things slow. She knows my story, knows what I've been through. She doesn't judge. Darnell? Last I heard, he's working at a gas station in Hammond, Indiana. Keisha left him 2 years ago, took Cameron and moved back in with her sister. Darnell lives in a studio apartment, alone, exactly like he deserves. Mama and I don't talk much. She made her choice. She chose to protect Darnell instead of holding him accountable. I can't forgive that. Maybe one day, but not today. What I learned from all this is simple. Some people will take and take and take until you have nothing left to give. And when you finally say no, they'll call you the villain. They'll say you're cruel, heartless, unforgiving. Let them. Because protecting your peace isn't cruelty. Setting boundaries isn't heartless. And refusing to be someone's doormat isn't unforgiving. It's survival. Darnell made his choices. He lived his life thinking actions didn't have consequences. That charm and Mama's protection would save him forever. He was wrong. And I'm finally free. Thanks for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please leave a like and subscribe. Have you experienced something similar? Share your story in the comments below.